Hello everybody, my name's Adam, and in this video we're going to take a look at downloading, installing, and running the Python software. Now up to this point in the videos I've made for Python, I've been using an online Python editor. I'll just quickly show you what that looks like. Usually I just do a Google search for online Python editor or online Python compiler, as you can see here. And I like this one here, programiz.com. That's the one I've been using in the videos. And if you've watched those other videos, you'll know that it looks like this. Now, there's several things that I like about this online compiler. I can easily, make it full screen here. I like that I don't have to install anything, which makes it easy for students to access. We're not asking them to install software on their devices. They can easily access it on their phones as well. There's kind of a nice mobile version for it. I like that there are numbers down the side here, which is handy for quick reference when you're using this in a classroom environment. We can easily zoom. I'm just holding Control and rolling the mouse wheel, or you can do Control plus to zoom in, Control minus to zoom out, which is great if you're showing this on a screen in a classroom. Makes it easier to see, or perhaps if you're making videos like this one. I like that you can switch it to a dark background like this as well, which is kind of nice when you're working on programs. Now there are some things that I don't really like about it, some things that make it not ideal. First of all, there's no good way for us to save our work in this this online compiler here. So especially if you're writing a large program, you might want a way to save your work so you can access it at a future time. But we can't do that with this online one here. And also, perhaps you've noticed if you've been using this, sometimes it acts a little bit strange. You'll write up a program, you'll hit run, and something unexpected happens over here in the shell column, the shell window here. It's not a big deal. You just usually end up running the program again and all works fine, but it can get a little bit annoying sometimes. So let's talk about how you can install and use the actual Python software from Python. Now I will mention right now, if you're using a school computer, that is a Brant Haldeman Norfolk Catholic District School Board computer lab computer, or a teacher desktop, you don't need to install Python. It's already installed, not the latest version, but a version that will work just fine. And you also couldn't install on those devices either. We don't have that permission to do so. You can install on your teacher laptops though, and any other device that you want to use that's a Windows device. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to first of all go to python.org, and there it is right there. So if I go to python.org, that takes us here, and I'm going to download it. So I'm just going to click on downloads here. I didn't even have to click it. This window, this drop down popped up, and I'm just going to download for Windows Python. Current version is 3.10.4. So I'll hit that, and as you can see down here, we have the download. Once that's complete, I'll click that, which will launch that program there, and I'm ready to install. Just one little thing here, I usually do check off add Python 3.10 to path. Not that it's super important for what we're doing, but what it does allow you to do is run Python from the Windows command prompt. Now that's not something I've ever needed to do, but perhaps in the future I will, I don't know. So I usually check it off. By the way, if you don't check it off now, but find out later on you do want it, you can add it later on. You don't have to reinstall or anything. So I've got that checked off, and I'm just going to hit install now. And here we go. So it's going to take a little bit of time to install, and we'll just wait for that to finish. All right, now let's talk about how we launch Python and use it to do some coding. So first of all, if you're using a school computer, perhaps a BHN CDSB computer lab computer, or a teacher desktop, or a computer in the library, for example, you can access this software through the app v folder, which is found on the desktop. So just double click that folder on the desktop there, scroll down and look for the Python 3.5 folder. So yes, it is a little bit of an older version we're going to use here, but it still works great. So double click that folder, and then the icon you want to double click in there is the IDLE icon. That is IDLE, which stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment, perhaps named after Eric Idle from Monty Python, because as we mentioned in a previous video, the creator of Python is a big Monty Python fan. Okay, so that's how you can get there on a school computer. You could also access the software from the Start menu. So because I just installed Python, we'll see up here that the idle is showing in the recently added section here, but I should also have a folder for Python if I just scroll down to the letter P. And where is it? There it is, Python 3.10, and there's idle right there. So I'll click that, and that will open up a window that looks like this. And in this window, you can do some simple coding, some simple little programs. For example, I could say for x in range 10, perhaps we're going to say y equals x squared, and then we'll just print y. So this should give us a list of a bunch of perfect squares, and it does. There we go. But if you want to do some more complex programming, you're going to want to go to File and click on New File, and that will open up this window here where we can write our program. So you go ahead and write your program here. I'm just going to paste one that I've copied to my clipboard. This is a simple interest program. It just gives us a final amount after a set number of years. So you can see we define the principal, the rate as a percent, the time, and then we just calculate the interest rate as a decimal, divided by 100, of course, there. And we define the amount to be the principal plus the principal times the rate times the number of years. And we'll print that final amount. So that's how that works. Now, if I want to run this program, I can go click on Run and go Run Module. I could also just hit F5. It's kind of a nice quick way to run the program. Now, you'll notice before we can run the program, we have to save it. So I'll just say, okay, I will save this program to, let's save it to the desktop here, and we'll just call it interest. All right, and then it should run it for us. So there we go. Okay, so here we go. Enter the principal. Let's say, I don't know, $1,000. Enter the rate as a percent. Let's just say 2%. And the number of years, let's say, it doesn't really matter, 10 years. And there we go. We get our final amount. Okay. Now, the nice thing is that if I close this up, if I open up Python again, once again, I'm just going to go click on idle here. I can open up that program that I just saved. So if I go to File, Open, just go to the desktop, which is where I saved that file, and open it up. I can now continue editing this program here. Now, I will mention one thing. You might run into some problems if you try to send these Python files through email. You might run into some security issues where the person receiving your message can't access that attachment. You'll have to find another way to send those Python files in that case. All right, so I've opened that up and I can continue editing. Every time I do make a change to this and try to run it, I will have to save it again. Now, one other thing that I will mention, which is kind of nice when it comes to working with the actual Python software, is that if I just double click this file that I've saved on my desktop, it actually runs the program for me. So I can enter the principal again, I can enter the rate as a percent, and I can enter the number of years. Now, when I click enter here, when I press that enter key, what's going to happen is the program is going to run, but then it's going to close automatically. So take a look at this. There we go. So I didn't even get to see the result. So how can I fix that so that I actually can see the result and not have this program close as soon as it's done? Well, what I can do is I can go into idle again, and I'm going to open up that interest program, and I'm just going to add a little bit at the end. So we'll say open, and it's on the desktop here, and it was interest. Okay, so I'm going to open that. So here's what I'm going to do at the end of this program. I am going to import something, and the thing that I'm going to import is called OS. I'm not 100% sure what that stands for. My guess would be operating system. I don't know. And then I'm going to access something from that library. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to hit OS and a period, and I'm going to type system. And then in brackets, I'm going to put, and also in quotation marks, I'm going to put the word pause, just like that. Quotation marks and brackets. And what this will do is when we go to run the program off the desktop, so not running it through idle here, but run it off the desktop, it will pause at the end and let me see the result before it closes. Okay, so I'm just going to save this here. So we'll save the new one. Now watch what happens when I go to run this off the desktop. So enter the principal, no problem. We'll put $1,000 and enter the rate as a percent. Let's just say, I don't know, 4%, and the number of years, let's say 20 years. So look at that. Now we can see that the amount after 20 years is $1,800, and the program, it didn't close here. So it says press any key to continue, and when I do press a key, it closes. So kind of a nice handy thing where you can run your program just from double clicking the file like that. And there you go. I hope you found that helpful.